Thank you, everybody. But we are in the building tonight, and tonight's going to be one of those nights to remember. So make sure you do a few things for me on a housekeeping note. One, this is season 4, episode 407, with your boy, the main man, the one and only Coach Tony, and this is the Pull Up Podcast Show. And tonight I got to do this. I got my mans in them, really. My mans in them from from the Fan Appreciation Show, sitting in the house tonight. We're going to be talking about FanDuel, but it's on and popping tonight. You know, the good thing about tonight's show is that you not only get my opinion, but you get some outside opinion, you know, of some of the people that's always tuned in to the show. Do some housekeeping notes. Megan, I see you out there. Lisa, I see you out there. Ashley, I see you out there. Let's get it popping. Make sure you do a few things for me. Please like the show, share the show with your friends, make sure they share the show with somebody else. But more importantly, subscribe to the Pull Up Podcast Show as we give you quarter by quarter of sports information. But before we bring out my mans in them, Val, you know what to do. Drop it.
It's the Pull Up Podcast. It's the Pull Up Podcast. It's the Pull Up Podcast. Pull up, pull up. It's the Pull Up Podcast. It's the Pull Up Podcast. It's the Pull Up Podcast. Pull up, pull up. Bounce the voice and Coach Tony, you know. It's the Pull Up Podcast. Show. I said bounce the voice and Coach Tony, you know. It's the Pull Up Podcast. Show. It's the Pull Up Podcast. It's the Pull Up Podcast.
Man, every time I hit, I think I'm at an HBCU step show. I got my mans in there rolling. They know we throwing up them yos tonight and then pull out them canes, make it look real good. Hey, man, make sure you do a few things for me. If you got a comment you want to say, you want to talk about the topics tonight, because they're going to be hot. They're going to be like a barnyard fire in the backyard, roasting marshmallows. Make sure you put them in the tagline so Val, the voice, Johnson, can make sure she put them up and everyone be able to say that. Hey, introducing to the stage from my left to my right, we got the youngster in the house. We got to put him out on the stage first. My man's in them, who's my assistant coach, been with me, handles all my player development for my kids in the program. Shout out to the Tennessee Edge AAU Boys Travel Basketball Program. You know, coming off of a great hiatus. It's my man. Welcome to the stage, Coach Justin Allen. What's up, baby boy?
Man, what's going on with it, Coach T? Appreciate you having me on so I could talk this ish with you guys, man. Always a pleasure.
Man, and also, man, for those that don't know, he just come up off the financial investment. Y'all need some investment advice, you better get with my man. Plus, we just came off a party last week. Nice party at the crib. That was nice, though. I loved it, baby. I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Hey, man. Now, my boy, who's been with me for a minute, ever since I hit the corporate world. You know, he's been with me from day one in the corporate world, rocking and rolling shoulder for shoulder, coming down out of, what we say, Charlotte, you know, in the Carolina. You know, he always repping that Carolina blue. Bring to the stage my boy, the one and only James Ward. J-Dub.
What's up? What's up, Tony? Thanks for having me on the show, man. I'm excited. More than anything, I want to give a little bit of love to my HBCU, North Carolina A&T. Aggie Pride. I was just in Nashville about a month ago.
We had to stick y'all. Y'all came down. We had to run y'all up out of Nashville.
Yeah, you guys got us a little bit at Tennessee State, but, you know, I got welcome to the culture, man. Welcome to the culture. I enjoyed myself there.
Man, I appreciate it, man. You always welcome in the city, man. And whenever you come in, you know what we going to do. My boy, my kin folks, my mother from another mother, Chi-Town to the Zona. We're going from cold to the desert and then some. We go from the yard to the day's present. We got Godfather and then some. My family, the one and only Mike D, original Mike Drew. Welcome to the stage, boy. Represent.
Hey, what up, boy?
Yeah, man. Thule Park in the house. Y'all don't know South Side of the Chi, baby.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Shout out to my North Central College alums that tapped in tonight. Thanks for showing up, y'all.
They tapped in, man. They gonna say something. They tapped in. And this dude right here, you know, with the Kiwi, when we dropped in, coming to me, when he first got on the yard, you know, at Fisk, I was already there. Plugged with him right away because he told me one thing, y'all. You know what he said? I'm from the D. I like, man, you good with me. So we repped in and we rocked hard. From the D, now in Atlanta, from the D to the A, my boy, the one and only Coach Jay Smith. Welcome to the stage, baby.
What up now, Coach Tone, before we get started, you know, if I can't be myself up here, I can't be on this show. Can I be myself?
Come on, man. This is my show, man. It's the Pull Up
Right,
Podcast.
man. Give me 1 second, man. 1 second,
Hey,
man.
hey, look, there you go, y'all. I don't know what's going on right now. Last time he was on the show, fellas, he had mad hats.
Give me 1 second, man.
Hey, Mike, you know, James, what are y'all, man? Throw a flag, man.
Hey, tell them the feds are watching, man. The feds are watching, man.
Give me 1 second. You know what I'm saying?
Hey.
Wait. You know what I'm saying? I'm standing in solidarity with my boy.
No, he can bring out
Did
the
he find a cigarette, man? I ain't even got mine. Look at it, man. Hey, man, both of y'all out of bounds. Justin sitting up here, personal foul on FanDuel, man. They watching him. We got to put his bets in. Now look at you. You on the Billups tip. Hey, I like that, though, man. Hey, man, put them cups up, man. All y'all, man. Welcome to the podcast, man. We all got the cups up in the house, man. I appreciate y'all being on the show tonight. Y'all know what it's be like, man. This is going to be crazy. I need y'all to be straight real with me tonight with the fans, and make sure you guys put your questions in the tagline so Val can put them up. I'm going to start it off.
My extra glasses on.
There you go. Right, so you can see through things. I already get you. Mike, hey, let me get my tapes and my G.I. Joe back from 94, man. I'm telling you right now, man. Rock'em Sock'em Robot, I'm going to need it back.
Hey, man. Listen. You know what it is.
Right.
You know what it is.
Listen, man, last week, you know, I hated to hear the news. I'm sure you guys did too, you know, and whatnot. But the feds came down and allegedly got indictments for 3 of the guys that we know that are very important to the game of the Rock. That is Coach Chauncey Billups, for those that don't know, currently in the staffing of the Portland Trail Blazers, who is now on leave right now till all of this gets cited over. Damon Jones, coming off of assistant coaching with the Lakers, and then the last assistant coaching with the Cavaliers, Cleveland Cavaliers. And then we got point shaving going on that we all know truly about that situation with none other than Terry Rozier, Charlotte Hornets, when he actually got in trouble with this during the pandemic situation, who is now with the Miami Heat. So the question on the table tonight, I don't care who started off, is this. Has the NBA and allowed gaming or betting on sports betting to get to the point that it's affecting professional athletes and forcing them to do things that they would none otherly do? Because all 3 of these guys that we talking about, fellas, they making well over 50 mil or have made over 50 mil in their career, whether player, coach, so forth and so on. And now allegedly the FBI and Cash Patel has put in something called the FBI Operation Bet. And let me explain it real quick for those that's listening to the podcast tonight. Last week, Chauncey Billups, Damon Jones, and Terry Rozier was picked up. Terry Rozier was picked up for point shaving, basketball games, allegedly when he was with the Charlotte Hornets and moving to the Miami Heat, where he was setting up games, telling friends, text messaging people that what games he was going to fake an injury to be out so that his friends would then be able to bet on those games and make millions of dollars. He was also with Coach Damon Jones, who is considered to be a facilitator between the coaching staff and the players, meaning that he was also point shaving, helping out with the coaching situation and making sure that he take the guys out of the game so they didn't reach their points. In addition to that, Coach Chauncey Billups and Damon Jones also allegedly picked up because they've got connections with the mob, and the mob on card games, on poker games to be exact, for backhouse poker games that were not illegal in Las Vegas. Chauncey Billups was considered to be what they call the face card, which is basically a professional athlete that they brought in to use to distract what they call the fish, which is your normal rich people that wanted to be with the athlete to play poker to distract them. And then obviously the people that were watching that was pulling off these schemes, they called them the quarterback. They had shuffling cards. It had electronic devices in them, guys. They had cameras in the sky. They even had a dealer with glasses on like Coach J, X-ray vision, and a table that could actually see through the cards. So let's get this started tonight, man. I want to know y'all thoughts and stuff. Each one of you guys on this podcast are ex-athletes or former athletes. So I want to hear from you. And let's go start it off. Let's go from the youngster, man. Let's go up. Let's go, Justin. Drop some knowledge on us.
So your question was, is it going to be bad for sports, or is it going to continue? I want to address your question first.
The question is that is sports betting, has it gotten to the point that it's going to rope in more athletes and be bad for basketball, NBA especially?
No, it's not. It's not going to be bad for basketball, but it's going to bring in more athletes because the more access that you have to gambling and betting is just going to create more people trying to, get stuff done under the table. But as far as for making it bad, NBA is going to do their very, very best to make sure that the integrity of the game stays in check. Because if it doesn't, then you're not going to have people really betting that much anymore, because they're going to be thinking that it's fixed or it's a hoax or it's really just entertainment purposes. So with anything that you get more access to, you're going to start to see those habits come up. And one thing that we know about, guys, when it comes to sports athletes, they love the thrill. It's just about the thrill. Like for you to be on a $25 million contract, speaking about Terry Rozier, and you still willing to risk that, it's not even so much about the money at this point. My personal opinion, it's just about the thrill. Unless you were really bad with your money, and then you might have got caught up with the mafia and you got some debts that you got to pay back, but that's highly unlikely. But to answer your question, NBA is going to make sure that they keep the integrity intact, but they're still not going to be able to stop it. You're going to start to see more and more cases, as we've already seen within different sports. It ain't just basketball.
Yeah.
Anybody else just jump in, babe?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna put a business perspective on it. I think, Tom, when you you don't have to challenge the barriers to entry into the marketplace. You got something now like on a platform, online betting, you got these kind of things. Athletes have to be very careful to lend their face and their name to these audiences. I think when you're an athlete and you're playing or you're Hall of Famer, you got to be very careful what you endorse and what you're part of. I think that's the biggest thing because, sometimes your visibility is what people are banking on to increase the attendance, also have people there. So you got to be really careful about what you do indirectly because sometimes it can affect you directly. So I think some of these guys may not be aware when they're lending their name or their sponsorship to certain things, how much of those partnerships do you really understand? How deep do you understand the relationships of who their mutual friends are? It kind of goes back to AI and guys like that back in the day. You got to know your environment. You really got to understand the business aspects of who's behind certain things. When somebody says, hey, let's launch this new product, I want you to be the face of it, or I want you to lend your star power, you got to be careful. It's got to be vetted.
Well, we got a bet on the table right now because Charlie Duckworth said she got a bet on Coach Smith 3.5 on the over/under on the minutes right now. So I'm taking a little piece of that right now, man. I'm gonna lay at least a half on that line right now, man. As long as I can get 3.5, I'm good. Anybody want some of that?
Hey man, I personally think, man, the NBA is going to have to make some examples out of these three guys. Because at the end of the day, I feel like there is risk to their brand. And as you were saying earlier, Jay, you can't have the integrity become compromised with your brand. And what they're doing is, kind of compromising the brand of the NBA by making it seem like, there's ways to game and fix these games. And, that's the quickest way to start losing fans if they don't believe that what they're seeing, what they're watching, the product that they're purchasing is real, it's authentic, and so forth. So I don't think they're going to tolerate it, man. They're going to have to shut it down some way, some form or fashion. And I believe that the way that they're going to do it, because I feel like the train's left the station. There's no peeling back the whole open, gambling up on sports. It's left the station. I think they're just going to have to make a example out of these three guys to try to deter future athletes from considering it.
Tone, Drew's 100% right on what he said, and I listened to Adam Silver today address one of the topics when he was posed a question, but all he did is reiterate what was in the outline. He never said. Tell you
something about that too.
Yeah, he said, hey, this is what we did, this is what was going on, and this is why we found the guys to be deemed to come back to play. But he's 100% right when he's saying they're going to have to make an example of it, because you're talking about the entity of bringing all these gambling, betting sports, MGM, FanDuel, Prize Pick, DraftKings. They don't mess with that money. And if you can see, it's different when the icon and pendulum swings our way to people that look like us. But just remember, several years ago, it was a big investigation about Donaghy and all the referees.
Exactly.
I can go back to my 2004 Pistons. I remember when they played San Antonio, and Rasheed told them, y'all ain't shit. Y'all up here fixing game. And you could see it. But nobody wanted to address it. They wanted to sweep it under the rug. And many years later, what comes out? Donaghy was fixing games. Even Tony Brothers talking about who he could sleep with, get a certain call. Like, the integrity is just really going down, and you got to look at Adam Silver. You got to start with him, because if this was David Stern, I guarantee you this would not be so.
Oh yeah. And Jay, y'all listen to my show, and I know my boy watching tonight. Big shout out to my boy Merrill Cole, who took the Fed heat on the Adidas situation. He was on the show. Y'all remember months ago. So my man's in them. I talked to him earlier. He's gonna jump on. I really wanted him to say something, because he took the Fed heat on the Adidas situation, not even dealing with the gambling side of the house. But we're gonna take a commercial break in the first quarter, and Lisa, we're gonna come back. She says the NBA is very culpable as well. And Billups, James, and Rozier, they put their futures, their family, and the security of everything that they've already secured at risk. And that they knew that it was wrong. Now, I'm going to give you guys some information on Billups when we come back. We're going to finish this second quarter. Val, let's pay some bills. We'll be right back on the Pull Up Podcast Show. Hey, I'm Coach Tony, and this is the Pull Up Podcast Show. For every Monday, we break down the game quarter by quarter and give you information as well as break down the coach. Join us on the Pull Up Podcast Show.
Pull up. It's the Pull Up Podcast. It's the Pull Up Podcast. It's the Pull Up Podcast. Pull up. Bounce the voice and Coach Tony, it's the Pull Up Podcast. Show. I said bounce the voice and Coach Tony, it's the Pull Up Podcast.
Every year they would give us forums on what and what not to do. One of those things where if somebody asks you if a certain player is playing, you say no. So all these guys knew what was at stake. And I'm just ashamed that they put themselves and put their family and put the NBA in this position. We all know the rules. We all know the letter of the law. And it's just unfortunate. Innocent until proven guilty. But usually when the FBI has something, they have you. FBI, I know a lot of people in the FBI, and I've been in many of those investigations. They'll wait 2, 3, 4, 5 years, but when they come knocking on your door, they have something. And we all know the letter of the law when it comes to gambling and sports gambling. And I don't want to sit up here like I'm some perfect guy. Like every now and then when I go to Vegas, I'll play some craps and I'll play some roulette, but never gambled at anybody's house. Don't know anything about poker, so I don't know what they're talking about when it comes to the Chauncey thing. But I know Chauncey, I know Damon very well, played with Damon, so I don't want to sit up here, but I'm ashamed that those guys would put their families and their careers in jeopardy. There's an old saying in the hood, all money ain't good money. So if you're making $9 million and you're dealing in certain things, like how much more do you need? Especially if you know you get caught, you can do jail time, lose your career. Put a bad image on yourself or your family or on the NBA. I agree with you, Chuck. They dropped the ball.
Man, I tell you, Lisa, you couldn't ask a better question. She just hit it, and she's giving it to you from a female family perspective and what they put on the line. And let me give y'all some quick updates real quick.
And before you get that update, let me just say this. I'm not sure which is worse, having the players, whether they're former or current, and a coach involved, or having any type of affiliation with the mob. I mean, that's a double-edged sword right there.
Oh, yeah,
I mean? Just the idea that the mob is involved with this,
right,
just erodes the credibility, if you will.
Yeah. And I'm gonna give you the update. So the update earlier was talking about, Jay, you kind of alluded to it. Supposedly, the news that came out today, they've already brought in 35, supposed to have another 30 coming in today or tomorrow. And Adam Silver was actually on an interview already early or late last week, 2 days prior to. And they asked him about it. And he says, man, we got to get this gambling that we got going on under wrap. And everybody like, what are you talking about? He's on the interview. No idea. The arrest hadn't even come down. And Shamgod on ESPN had reported a day before. And they're like, well, how do these two people keep talking about this gambling? And all of a sudden they came down the following day. So they kind of already knew what was going on, kind of what Jay was alluding to, because if this was David Stearns, it wouldn't have happened, not even in this particular way that was going on. So when you're looking at this, I was listening to an interview with the mobster who actually did 15 in the yard, and think about it, us brothers struggle trying to get a gig, especially don't get arrested. But he went in the yard and was set to do 25, did 10 and a half, came out 13, 2 years probate, got 15 in the yard. Came out, and the FBI met him the day he got out, and he has now, 30 years later, is one of the more wealthier guys, and he's been in the NCAA, Major League Baseball, NBA, NFL, teaching how to stay out in trouble. His exact words was, Jay, you may not like this. Chauncey was in bed with the mob while he was in Detroit, got caught up on a difficult situation and couldn't get away. And what the mob is going to do is they may tell you you're going to work it off 2 or 3 months, but you making them paper, you ain't working it off 2 or 3 months. Come on, man, you ain't getting up out of that yard. So he ended up being with the mob for quite some time. Because of the money they were requesting, people tagged on. So the question now on the table is, with these new 35 or 50 or 55 or 60 indictments, do you guys think there are more NBA guys coming, whether that be players, coaches, or people within the whole gamut? Do you think that there's going to be a lot more indictments? And do you think there's going to be people that's announced? Because today, LeBron James' names came up today as a possibility of one of the guys that quasi or allegedly showed up to one of these poker games.
Oh, 1,000%. I was watching the video that you were talking about as well, where you talk about they got tracked over 3,000 calls.
3,000 calls.
1,000%. And these investigations have been going on since like 2022, 2023. And you've seen it in different sports, not just the NBA, NHL, MLB, MLS. So they're tracking all of that down. Unfortunately, I just think it's going to hit the NBA the hardest because, like I said, well, maybe MLB, them the two that's making the most money, guaranteed. And I think one of the things that we have going on, and you see all the players that actually have gone broke, a year or two out of the league like that, is just because they're trying to upkeep a lifestyle that they really can't upkeep after they retire out the league. So then you get caught up trying to gamble. You got that competitive spirit. And then before you know it, shoot you down in the hole. And you just trying to get the next bet to get out the hole.
Try to get your family up out of it. And then you go and mess with the mob. And Greg, my boy Greg Jackson, NCC alum, baby, says, before they let him go or set an example, they try to get trapped. When you on the line and they telling you about to do 25 in the yard, man, somebody gonna speak out, man. Somebody gonna speak out. I'm not about to do that 25, so somebody gonna speak out, man. What y'all other brothers thinking?
Here's probably unpopular opinion.
Okay.
Out there. How much do y'all think that this administration have potentially to do with this as well?
Man,
you think about kind of in NFL, they shut down the Colin Kaepernick deal.
Correct. NBA went to the bubble.
MLB really, I haven't seen too much protests, you know what I mean, for social justice done in that sport.
Right.
But the NBA, they let them brothers kind of do what they want to do.
Yeah, Black Lives Matter, man.
And my man's and them, payback, man.
Yeah,
he's going after all of his, adversaries.
Yeah, he is.
Well, let me say this, Coach Tone. Well, I love the player Chauncey Billups. All right, and because when I have my sports talk show up in Detroit with Rob Parker, he would always come.
Shout out.
Gifted, good shout out. The autographed jersey tag still in the back, shoes, everything. He supported my my fundraiser that I was going on. I'm disappointed in the person and the man with these allegations that has come out. Us up here know that if we have one of them contracts, let alone play in the league 10 plus years or coach that many more years, we will be, beyond grateful. There's no way we would put our families, ourselves in jeopardy like that. Now, back what you said about the mafia and the NBA, are they just going to let the guys out to hang? Well, it's showing they're going to let the guys go out and hang. Again, you hearing all the names, you seeing all the faces, you hear a couple of mafia names, but you don't never see their faces. Am I right?
You ain't seeing their faces right now because the mob, hey man, real mob in silence.
It kind of goes back to Coach Tone, and you'll be aware of this too. But I was coaching a couple of years ago with the play-to-play type scam. You can go back to Adidas versus Nike with Sonny Vaccaro. But even if you go back to the play-to-play type scam, when you start looking at these various colleges and universities, you can look at Arizona, Auburn, Indiana was there, and even Michigan State. All you seen was the brothers that was lambasted, even though the coaches was found guilty, and they were still taking jobs and they're still coaching. But we were the job.
You better get a $30 million contract.
The NBA is gonna let them hang.
Right.
Yeah. And I think some of the guys are being persecuted already in the court of public opinion. So like you said, you're not seeing the mafia, but you're seeing out front a couple of NBA players being exposed, regardless to being guilty or not. But it's already some damage being done.
What you want to see, James? What you want to see, John Gotti?
I don't even know what I want to see, but I see. But let me be careful with that, But no, real talk. Keep his name out your mouth.
Like keep it.
So I got to think about that one. I got to do some research on that one.
Hold on, man. For emotional purposes only, John. I'm good.
You got to pull up, man.
Hey, man, outside the shot, John. We good, man. You come
I had to back up a little bit, No, but I just think, like you said, I think this, Jonte Porter going back to what happened with him. Yeah. Now this is continue to drag out, being more exposure, more names being added to the list. The NBA is only going to let so much damage be done, and I just think it's unfortunate. But on the flip side of that, my question, and this is your show, Coach Tone, but I want to know, is the NIL kind of pushing some heat to this where people don't feel like things are really structured well or organized and how we're doing things? So a lot of people are against athletes in the first place, thinking they, spoiled or get too much money. So, they got criticism they're already facing.
Yeah, we're gonna get in that and shortly. And Mike Drew, our girl on the yard, Dawn Brooke, Dawn always checking in. She said, "Man, Mike, you beat her to the punch, man. The league will survive, but the players, they will be replaced." Oh, that's a dope line. That's a tagline. The league will survive, but the players will be replaced with like European players. And she even went deep because if those that don't know him, Coach Jay, you and I are always talking about this for these kids coming out. Coach, we already got a kid that was number 2 in the draft a few years ago. Shout out Brandon Miller, Charlotte Hornets, and whatnot. But the crazy part about it is that Don was right. If you're not checking out what's happening in the NBA draft in the last few years, and the Euros are coming in, we're barely getting maybe what'd you say, Jay? 2, maybe 3 in the top 10. We're barely getting 2 to 3 in the top 10 because they're Euros now, man. And these kids are coming out and they mean business because they've already been playing. So James, we're gonna get in it.
And then the 2 or 3 that we getting, we talking about, well, who is that? Where you play at?
Right. Who is that? And he ain't coming out. Yeah. And so all these guys, I'm sorry, James, them cats going down to Carolina, the Blue didn't throw a lot. You know, me and you always talking about that.
Last 4 years, who been the MVPs?
Right, the Euros. Yeah. And Victor Wembanyama about to take the league over. If
hey, place that bet for me now.
Hold on, let me get the bet. Hey, Greg, let me get the
years that they were coming. You know what I mean? It was just a matter of time before they got a chance to kick the door wide open. And that's what we're seeing right now. They have basically caught up because of their playing from a young age, year round.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And they're playing almost at a professional level, if you will.
Yeah, grown men. They're playing guys. They're playing grown men.
Absolutely.
Grown men. Hey, we're going to take a halftime break and we're going to turn the show. We're going to come back with another question to turn it real quick. We're going to jump into this next topic. We'll be right back with Coach Tony and my mans and them. This is the Pull Up Podcast Show. Val, we got to go in halftime. I got to talk to my squad real quick because I don't know what these do. Jay pressing, Mike got zone, Justin doing something, James playing man to man. I got to go in and talk to my kids. I'll be right back. Hey, it's your main man, right back at you. Coming live here from the Rise Studio. And it's your guy talking about what? Pull Up Podcast Show. What is the Pull Up Podcast Show? It's a brand new podcast hitting your airways nationwide, talking everything on sports, from baseball, basketball, hockey, and then I tell you, we're going to have a lot of fun. So make sure if you want your questions answered, you want to have fun talking a lot of sports, make sure you pull up on me because it's the Pull Up Podcast Show.
It's the Pull Up Podcast. It's the Pull Up Podcast. It's the Pull Up Podcast. Pull up, pull up.
Also, for those that want to learn a little bit more about this right here, oh yeah, that right there, that's the Rise, NIL, talking name, image, and likeness. Those are having opportunities, getting paid. You want to tune in to it.
Sports show, let's go. It's the Pull Up Podcast show. It's the Pull Up Podcast. It's the Pull Up Podcast. It's the Pull Up Podcast. Pull up. It's the Pull Up Podcast. It's the Pull Up Podcast. It's the Pull Up Podcast. Pull up.
Man, welcome back. Third quarter, coming up out the locker with your boy, the one and only Coach Tony. This is the Pull Up Podcast Show with my mans and them in the house. Hey, Greg, man, you know, I would love to have had you on this show tonight. For those that don't NCC grad, he's in what they call player experience, and I got an opportunity to talk to him homecoming weekend, just kick it with him, just to pick his brains. You know, he's down on the field, was on the field with the Tennessee game, showed me some photos, and he got an opportunity. He's doing some things, and like you said, on the NIL side of the house, and James, you, Mike, brought it up, and all that, and Coach Justin alluded to it a moment ago. But he said he believes on the NIL that it's going to be a kind of like the college pro sports. Now, I told Coach Justin this 2 weeks ago, and Jay, I think you and I were talking about a little bit about this because you know you kind of on that you with it. But I don't know if you guys have heard, the EYBL is now moving to a fall league. Not only having travel basketball in the summer, but they move money. So Nike is saying, what we're going to do is scoop all this. So the question on the table, or the comment real quick for those guys as we transition. My man's in them, the one and only Coach Tom Izzo, love him to death. He came on air yesterday, and he made a statement. The statement is in reference to the NCAA received information, fellas, from a G League player that he was wrongly done because he accepted the opportunity to go to the G League to play basketball. But the NCAA and the NBA capped his earnings at $250. was if he would have went to college, he could have received NIL money and endorsements and made as much as he want, i.e. Cooper Flag making 30 mil, and then went to the league. So the NCAA has now received some heat as to accepting the G League players. So for those that are listening that don't understand, several years back, David Stearns, rest his heart, before Silverman took over, made the last one and done player was LeBron James. The information for the league in terms of it was getting too young, so they was trying to change it to get the youth back into the NBA. So the NBA came up with either one or two situations. You either could come out of high school and go to college, play 1 year, and if the NBA thought you was ready, they could draft you, or you could stay in college and do whatever you had to do. This is pre-NIL. And then if you went to the G League, you got an opportunity to get paid $250,000, and then if you made it to the league or you made it to the NBA, they could pick you up. Fast forward, the NIL hit in 2023. The NIL hit right in the middle of the pandemic. It opened up a wave. Companies jumped on it. Boosters jumped on it. Now these guys are saying it. So Coach Izzo made a comment the other day as to, okay, I can understand recruiting, right? And Jay, you and I are here every day. It's the portal and getting kids and getting players out of the portal. Now you're trying to tell me you want to add G League players to the portal that have been playing for 2 years in the G League making $250,000, and they pissed off because the teammate that they thought they were better than decided to go to Duke, Carolina, and they getting that Jordan money, making real paper, and they ain't got to jump to the league, i.e. Bronny James, who make $10 million, sitting behind whomever, out in USC. So the question on the table for you guys, will the NCAA allow these kids to go? Because what they're trying to propose is this. I want you to listen to the proposal. If you take the opportunity to go to the G League and make $250,000, if you leave after your second year, you can play up to 2 years in the G League. But if you leave after your second year, the NCAA will give you your 2-year scholarship back your junior and senior year to play college ball. Is that fair or not? Because right now, Coach Justin can tell you we're struggling with high school kids, even getting them a look, even getting them an opportunity. And Rick Pitino already said last year at St. John's, what? I will be a fool because I'm the godfather to go recruit a high school kid when I can get everybody out the portal that I need. I see you shaking your head, James. Go ahead and start us off, James. What do you think?
I think it, I don't know how I really agree. I'm kind of mixed on it, but when you think about a coach that can recruit half his team in the portal, and you can get experienced guys that played in the G League for 2 years versus someone 17 whose body hasn't filled out yet, and it's all potential, and they're not even a top 50 player, then I'm going to go to the portal, and I'm going to, take one of those guys that's been able to play in the G League for 2 years. So consequently, that's going to minimize the scholarship offers for guys coming out of high school in the top one over 100. The 100 to 300 range is going to really make it scarcity of resources, even NIL money at a top Power 5 conference.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the high school kids are the ones that are, going to get hurt the most by this. Because like you said, this portal thing, man, this has just opened up at Pandora's box, man, that, has never been seen before. I mean, you guys that probably have played minimally on squads. I'm not, maybe you were coming off the bench. They're still way better than a lot of these high school kids.
Oh, for sure.
I mean, so coaches are going to lean in that direction first and foremost, unless you are one of those top 50, top 100 high school players that they're predicting that they can't miss or something like that. But at the end of the day, man, to answer your question, I almost feel like, man, the G League is not too much higher than college basketball to me. You know what I mean? You do have some players that'll go down. Like for example, the guy that won the slam dunk contest 3 years in a row.
Right.
He's just getting his first
Right.
real multi-year
The G League.
contract after playing in the G League for quite some time.
Right.
Now, is he better than a high schooler? Absolutely. Is he better than a lot of the guys that are coming out of the portal? Maybe. I don't know. Probably.
Yeah.
He's probably played some better competition, I would think.
And
Coach Jay, what you got?
Yeah.
Coach Jay, what you got? I saw you ready to say something.
Yeah, so I kind of agree with Drew. Here's the if you want to call it the caveat of this, it's only really affecting basketball.
Right.
If we really be
baseball and hockey already got it. You can come out of high school, baseball and hockey, and work your way through.
Well, not only that, Coach Tone, with football, Kirby Smart down here, these colleges or these Power Fives now are paying their high school recruits $20,000 and $50,000 and $80,000 to keep their commitments. Just to keep your commitment and safe going to USC. Not even flip-flopping. So that's why I say it's really only affecting basketball. Now, I think the NBA is trying to figure something out, and that's why they're kind of backing this. I just don't see it lasting long, because now you're taking the amateur sports part of it out of the equation, and it's coming pro, semi-pro, however you want to classify it. That's what it's becoming. When I go out and do my camps over these breaks and these summers, that's the first thing what Drew just said. When I talk to the parents and we have that question and parent segment, and Coach Tone, I tell the parents, if your son or daughter is getting an offer, be it JUCO, Division III,
whatever,
you better take it. You better take it. I said, because no college coach on any level is looking for any high school students at this moment. It's just not happening, Yep. And I tell them, hey, out there where I'm at, we got a kid. He's a junior now. He's been a walk-on. He's played 30 seconds in 3 years. 30 seconds in 3 years and haven't played yet. So and he can actually play. So what do you think your son is getting ready to do walking through the door of a Division I program? He won't touch the floor.
Wow. And before you answer, Coach Justin, Coach Diane Richardson, thank you. For those that don't know, Temple University, Mike Drew, J Dub, she's in the house. So she knows firsthand, because she's dealing with this on 2 days. She said high schoolers now won't simply have a chance unless they are the best of the best. With the transfer portal and the possible G Leaguers, you can forget it. And also teams will recruit old and stay old with experience. And you're listening to this from the head coach of Temple University, who's telling you, because she's not going to put herself in position to recruit kids. And Megan, unfortunately, son, was in a great situation, just going to UM St. Louis and whatnot. She and I, working with me all summer, we just came out of this experience trying to get it. And Coach Justin, the reason why I want to leave you last is because you're my trainer. You're out there every morning with my guys, ball handling and working out. You're doing all the hard work before we get into AAU, before we get to gym and all that. What's your perspective as you're training these kids, and you're also talking to these parents as well?
Yeah, so I would lean toward what Coach Jay was saying, as far as they're going to be looking for those who have already committed to some type of college experience, whether it be JUCO, D1, D2, mid-major. Because there's what I think. You can correct me if I'm wrong. If you're deciding to bypass NCAA and go straight to the G League, I'm thinking that you're not really getting the true X's and O's and really playing within the system. And more so with G League going to professional basketball, it's more so, 4 out. We're doing high pick and roll type. It's not really playing any real systems as far as in the offensive structure with defense. And a college coach is going to want that more so from a kid who's more susceptible to listen. So it's going to start from a JUCO a mid-major, someone who hasn't really gotten their shot yet. But I feel like they would look at them before they would a G League player who's been in an atmosphere where they're more so doing their own thing. They're not listening to an actual coach as much when it comes to putting in and implementing a system.
Okay, Coach Diane, I'm going to put you on the hot seat. Thank you for checking in. You are the truest of the truest on this podcast tonight. I want you to, if you could give me your opinion on that, what Coach Justin just said. You know, you are now trying to build a program at Temple. I reach out to James in North Carolina. He's got a kid in Charlotte, North Carolina who can flat out play. But you also got a kid, as you mentioned a moment ago, that's already G League potential to do whatever else. And we're talking about boys. So girls is coming next because Athletes Unlimited and Unrivaled about to expand that league. I was just on the phone today talking to some executives on some things just right here in Nashville because we got a team. But Coach Diane, I want you to at least give me a comment on what does recruiting look like for you right now at the D1 level? And I know you and I spoke a few weeks ago, and you're already past 26. You're already looking at the 27 class. And what are you looking at? And now, because of the changes, and even looking at the men's program at Temple, you know, what are the changes that are affected it? And if the G League becomes part of this entire, you know, gamut, how is that going to affect recruiting for the college coaches? You know, so if you get a moment, please put that in the tagline. In the meanwhile, we're going to take our last break of the day. We may even go into overtime because we heated up right now. Val, let's pay some more bills into the third quarter. We'll be right back to the fourth quarter of the Pull Up Podcast Show with Coach Tony and my mans and them. We'll be right back.
It's the Pull Up Podcast.
Are you a small business owner looking to grow? Introducing the Key Spot mobile app. I'm Cynthia McAllister, owner of the IT company Quality SAP. Since 2016, we have been supporting small businesses and help them promote and share their businesses, services, and events across the country. Key Spot is more than just an app. We are a network providing community. Key Spot, connecting communities and supporting small businesses.
And welcome back to the podcast show with your boy, the one and only Coach Tony, and my mans and them sitting here. You know, I know you just stepped away for a quick second. I was going to make a comment to James and let him know he is the one on this podcast whose team in a situation really get the big advantage because he in Michael Jordan territory. There's not a kid in the country that don't want to wear a pair of Jordans. You know what I'm saying? And I don't care if I'm going to Michigan, who wear Jordans, by the way. I don't care if I'm in Tennessee. I don't care if I'm in Zona. I don't care if I'm wherever that Michael Jordan brand recognizes a special thing. And it's kind of crazy because, you know, Mike, you and I were talking about that kid. I think I just sent you like 3 or 4 kids I told you to go check out this year just around Arizona. That's in the top 25. And I'm talking about high school kids right now who they're talking about potentially one and done. But if my son is at a situation where he's potentially one and done, oh shit, I'm not sending his ass to no college right now. I mean, to the G League right now. We can go to school and become eligible, can play ball, and potentially, you know, have an opportunity to, you know, make money. You know, for those that don't know. So my brother Mike, you know, sitting in the house, he's with Celsius. You know, if I know that I could bring in our nephew and maybe sign a deal like Travis Hunter got with you guys, man, I got commercial deals. I got everything that's rocking and rolling. I'm good to go. Why do I need to go? That was my big knock with LeBron James Jr. I don't mean no harm with Bronny and struggles he's having. But you took over from your dad as the Nike ambassador. And then Dr. Dre gave you a deal. You make it $12 million. And it's going to be difficult because everybody's going to come at you. Because they know that you're not your old man. Your little brother, he balling, but you're not your old man. This is just for promotional purposes, in my personal opinion. if I was little Bronny, I would say, shit, I'm gonna sit my ass at school and chill out. My best friend is none other than Juju Watkins and my little brother coming up, and I'm dealing with Clutch Sports, right? So I'm gonna say, hey, Pops, Jay, you already know about Clutch with the people we know. I'm gonna go ahead and sign that deal with Clutch and to say, teach me how to be an agent and let my first client be Juju and my next client be my little brother and rode in the sunset.
So you talking about not even playing?
Man, I'd have played at USC, Mike, but I'd have focused on getting my degree, possibly going into law, right? Become an agent, particularly, and I'd have just went on and said, hey, man, I'm gonna go ahead and get myself situated because
I think that was his dream right there.
I was to play with his old man.
Absolutely.
Set history. Yeah, set history,
Absolutely.
Make history. And now he did it, and now he's struggling because this year they were in the discussions, Mike, about not even bringing him to the bench. But now the season started, so he didn't got a spot. But it kind of goes back to what Jay said earlier. Are you going to come off the bench? If that spot you got, you going to be able to play? Are you going to just sit there?
Hey, Greg has the right response. Dad wasn't letting that happen, man. You know, that was a moment that LeBron wanted, and he felt he's done enough that the NBA.
You got your boy JJ Redick's job. You know that.
Yeah, has allowed it. I mean, all of us with the eye test know it was clear and better players out there than Bronny, and therefore that's why nobody else drafted. You know what I'm saying?
And there was no guarantee he was going to make it later.
Right.
He better use that leverage while he got it. You know what I mean?
That's a fact, Drew. And just to piggyback on one part of your questions, Coach Tone, that you had asked Coach Richardson, she's already, what are you doing for 28, 29? You got to go year to year. You got to go year to year now on the men's side, a little bit on the women's side, but definitely on the men's side, it's year to year now.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think also Bronny had to go. When you think about the sales and things of that nature for the Lakers, ticket sales increase. You know, that was that window, that small window of time when you know your talent ain't quite good, so you need that endorsement to ride your dad's shoulders, kind of get in the league. And then also, like I said, ticket sales, JJ Redick and LA was selling. So being that it's a big team, being that it's a superstar market, tier one market, that plays a part. But you know, somewhere like Oklahoma, anywhere else his dad would have been, Cleveland, I don't think it could have been pulled off.
Plus, JJ had a podcast going on, Jay, and Coach Richardson, thanks. She says, and I feel her because I'm looking at this and just stepping off the college sideline back to high school. She said Division I athletic directors are looking for simply wins and success. That's why you see a lot of these coaches, fellas. Y'all know that. Like, for example, your boy Kelly just got fired at LSU. They already talking about Lane Kiffin about to make double or triple amount of money they paid Kelly, right? And he's at Ole Miss. But she said some coaches want to win fast just to save their job. I can get that. But they may be immediately for success and or go with experience for just simply doing X's and O's. So you got some coaches, what she's basically saying is that I may not be able to get the experience or I may not be able to get veteran players or some of these top-notch high school kids to do what I want. But you know what? I'm going to go after these kids. And I think, Mike Drew, you just said a moment ago, I'm going to go after these D-League guys who at least are in the league. And even though they should have went to college, they went to the D-League, so they're playing against pros. Here's the funny part about it, and Justin, you mentioned this a moment ago. When you got people like Luka, right, Ginobili, Wembanyama, these guys, if you don't know, in Europe, these kids graduate at 15, 16 years old because they have year-round school. They don't take vacations like America. So by the time they got Luka, he had already spent 4 years. Do you guys remember Rick Rubio?
Mm-hmm.
Remember the Rick Rubio, Brandon Jennings situation? Brandon Jennings went there, Rick Rubio came here, and Rick Rubio had the better career. Why? Because he had already played 4 years with the freaking pros in Europe. He's balling out there.
Sabonis, all of them guys.
Yeah. Man, come on, man.
I think the youngest Ball brother went there too. Australia, somewhere and played one of
those. Yeah. Melo went over there, man, in the Ukraine, I think, something, and he killed and came back.
Yeah, man. It's you know, you look at Tony Kukoc. You look at before even Tony Kukoc. What was the kid name that played at Jersey?
Oh man, that was my boy. He scored 105 points in a game in Europe. Nobody ever talked about it. It came up on my Instagram the other day.
I knew they were coming in, man. At that particular point, it was kind of undeniable that talent was slowly but surely catching up with the talent here in the States, man. And look at it now, man. The top 10 draft this year? How many of them? 7 out of the 10 were from
Europe.
Europe.
Yeah.
They coming, man, and the balance of power has been. And Michael Jordan kind of said that years ago when they went over there in the '92 draft. That they go, oh wow, the Euros have kind of come in, and even though him and Pippen shut down Tony Kukoc and did what they had to do, but he's like, yeah, the Euros are coming. You just think they're talking about the Euro step. If it wasn't for Ginobili, we wouldn't have the Euro step.
But it's also changing the brand of basketball as well, because they're playing
Shoot.
the game a whole lot differently over there.
Well,
than
yeah.
play here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
There's positionless basketball right now, Mike.
Absolutely.
Post.
Sure.
If you can't step away and pull up like the Joker, you can't. Man, Joker right now. Me and Justin laugh and joke shit. We be on the damn phone half the week all the time talking about what the Joker doing. His brother, man, when the last time you seen a big man 7'2", 7'3", rebound the ball, put it on the floor, bring it. If you don't pull up, he'll shoot the three or he dish it and get it back and bang. You love to be like a pig and slop under the basket and he ain't going to get his.
And to piggyback off what Drew was saying, if you look at the rest of the markets, the NHL, baseball, and football is trying to hit that wave as well. Because every week now, we got a game in Berlin, London.
Absolutely.
They're trying to piggyback that market. Yeah,
they got to grow the brand, man. Become global, man.
Global. Global's a thing, but you also got to look at too. How much accountability do we? This ain't the segment, but think about the accountability coaches have to play. So when you think about now winning, you take Jay Lucas down at Miami. I think he's going to be a great coach, right? But he's got to win now. So when you think about that versus a coach that is like at St. John's who's saying, listen, I know if I need to put together 21 seasons over the next 4 seasons, then I know I got to do it where going to the portal. I can't develop talent and get a chance to be in the Sweet 16 once every 4 years. I need to be potentially in the Sweet 16 2 to 3 times out of a 4-year period. Right. So when you start looking at that math, you got to change the game.
Yeah, you got to, James. And Coach Richardson said that earlier. She just said that, she's sitting down every week. She's got a meeting every week with her administrator, right? She's got a meeting every week with her AD. And these ADs at these D1 sometime right now, James, they letting people go. And she just said, now with the portal that's in, coaches have no guarantee that a high schooler will even stay more than a year. And Tom Izzo just said that today as well, Coach Richardson. He said verbatim, if you allow these G Leaguers to come in and you already given me the portal, and Jay, you mentioned this earlier, you better go someplace else, you better go JUCO, you better go D3, you better go post-grad, whatever it may be, because why the hell would I want to go recruit Coach Justin, Mike, and James when I can get Coach Jay over here who a knucklehead? I know he's a knucklehead. I know he's a mess up.
Will Wade.
Oh, yeah, Will Wade.
Give me a checkbook. Will Wade said, give me a checkbook, baby. That's all I need. I went in the middle of the night, he went to Carolina and got one of the players. Will Wade said.
Yeah, in the middle of the night. And it was crazy, James, because they said if they fired him, he didn't care because what? He'd go back to the crib, sit down, and if these schools let him go before the contract is out, Coach Richardson, correct me if I'm wrong, but if you fire that coach before the contract is out, the school has to fulfill the payment of that contract for that coach unless they take another job. If they don't take another job and I'm getting paid $20 million, I sit at the crib and get a $2-3 million contract per year. Now, anybody on this thing, would you go work and take a job if you're getting $2-3 million a year and you don't have to go nowhere? Shit.
And Coach Tone, that's what I was talking about. He was one of them pay-to-play coaches that end up getting out of LSU. Now, he was the only one that bit.
He killed everything, and he still made it. Went down to Sam Houston after that.
To add back to what Coach Richardson was saying about the high schoolers not staying more than 1 year, and I don't know if you've seen the clip where Deion Sanders last week went in that room and told all the kids, hey, this is what I'm going to do. I'm not naive. I'm not dumb. I'm not stupid. I'm going to put a clip together. Y'all going to practice. Y'all going to play. we're going to help y'all get in that portal. We're going to put together a package. We're going to splice it up. We're going to do everything you need to help you get out here. Don't come to me talking about you staying and you ready to go next week. Yeah. So I agree. Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't know if y'all even knew about it. They said the kid that transfers 3 to 4 times in a 4-year career, Mike, this is going to mess you up. I know little Mike just came out. But a kid that transfers 3 to 4 times in a 4-year time period is set to make more money in those transfers of 3 or 4 years than the kid that stay. And Coach Richardson just said, she says, I have a Russian kid on my team, and she is so advanced in terms of basketball IQ. She just needs to get used to pace and play and physicality of the States. And Jay, me and you talk about this all the time. You can go get these Euros, and Mike, you just said it. They stretch the game. The way we play here in the States is totally different. What the Euros don't have is what they don't have, like a Coach Justin, like I got, who can send a kid over here and say, hey, Justin, I need you to put 6 weeks of ball handling on this kid on the street, in the gym, 2-hand, whatever. I need you to put him to the ground. When he gets back from you, I need to make sure he can handle a rock. I do the rest. They don't get that in Europe because they're going to run practices. They may have we have like a 2-hour practice running up and down the court with a garbage can, shooting nothing but threes for 2 hours. That's it. They're not getting the specific directions of physicality and how the U.S. play basketball. And Greg just said, man, he got one for you. Let me hear about that, Greg. Put it out here because I want to hear about it. So when you guys are talking about that, here's another question then. Does that mean the future of the NBA is going to change, guys? Because do you see what Adam Silver has done? I don't know if you guys read the news a few weeks ago. He was just over in Europe. For those that don't know, Barack Obama heads up the African Basketball League. Yes, President Obama. We are in the process right now, as Jay just said, because football is trying to follow. They're doing 4 continents. They're trying to do U.S., Africa, Europe, and South America. And in the future, what's going to happen is the 2 teams that make it to the championship of those 4 continents that they got will go into what they call a Super League championship. So you have 8 teams, 4 on one side, 4 on the other side. So last year's NBA Finals was who? Oklahoma and who played in Indiana. So you would have them make it to this Euro thing, and they would be opposite sides. If those 2 teams can beat and go all the way down and meet again, they would be considered what they call the world champion because the world – well, because I'm glad you asked, Mike, because they said that every single time we got at the Olympics, right, that's the only time that the U.S. can really, per se, show their talent because of the simple fact is when they get to the Olympics, we've been getting beat in the Olympics, right? We haven't had no, like, since the Dream Team, we've been like in the ocean, up and down. And so they're saying that in order to make it true, you're saying that you're a world champion, but you really got a lot of Euros here in the NBA. So if you now let them go back to their normalized teams and you play for this world championship, now it's continent versus continent.
Well, you know who brought that up? It was that the brother that run track.
Noah Lyles. Yeah.
Lyles. Yeah. He was the one that was saying, wait a minute, how are y'all calling yourselves world champions when, you're just competing domestically, if you will. You know what I mean? Whereas we are all competing against the world. And,
right.
and that was a valid point. It really was. And I think, it's probably time for that. It really is. I'd like to see that. I'd be a fan of that.
Yeah. Well, that makes sense because we already know with the All-Star game, we're going to see another world versus USA. I just feel like with you
right now,
giving me that information, that's going to happen again.
Well, when you look at soccer, which we call football over there, they call it football. But when you look at soccer, going way back since I was a kid, it's always been a global sport. It's always been, and the United States has picked it up in the last 40 years.
One sport worldwide.
Yeah. So when you think about it like that, but the question is, if you were to get a World Basketball League, that's what I would call a World Basketball League, getting sponsorship funding and getting people to really love the game, like those cultures in other places. So you'd have to really make sure it would take a while, but I'm not saying it's impossible, but it would take a while because, kids don't have anything in these foreign countries that's small and they just got a little soccer ball. But basketball could be a global sport. I think it could be.
I think it's already. We're gonna do this real quick before we move on. Val, hey, you know how we do? They playing some tough defense on me right now. So let's take the Pull Up Podcast show. We heading overtime. Val, drop that overtime low. We right back here. We just finished up. You know, the funny part about it is that. So give me one of you guys. Give me this. What's the remedy? What's the literally? I really want to know what's the remedy? Do we figure out that we already know the NCAA is screwed up, right? Here's a problem. The NCAA has allowed football to straight kill them, right? We know that, right? The NCAA football, and James, you and I talk every damn Saturday almost about rankings and who this and who that. Football is completely killed it. And once the Sherman Act came out with West Virginia and Tennessee 2 years ago, that they was able to sue the NCAA about, hey, they're able to make money, and because they're employees of the NCAA institution, they have to pay them. Ever since then, it's been good. Basketball has never really spoken out because the ball players are making money. They do what they've got to do. So the question to you guys is, what's the remedy? In everything that you see, and Greg kind of mentioned this earlier, everything ties together because high school ties to college. College is going to then tie to the pro. Because here's where I see it, and I'll give you my opinion. I want you to let me know if I'm right or wrong what you guys think. The high school kids, what you're about to see, if you're not on 24/7 Sports or ESPN Top 150, forget the 300 that Justin mentioned earlier. If you're not on the top 150, forget it. Because of those schools, 300 D1 schools around the country, most of these coaches, and Coach Diane, correct me if I'm wrong, most of these universities at that D1 level only got one, maybe two scholarship, 3 if they're good, unless they get a new coach who has clean house and he or she goes in and then she's got multiple scholarships because she's got to rebuild or he's got to rebuild the program. But if you don't see that, then you're sitting on a situation where top 150, and if you do the numbers, 300 schools, that's only 1.5, 2 kids per school. That's if each school were able to get 2 athletes. So as we come down to the end of the podcast here, guys, what do you think the remedy needs to be in terms of moving forward? Because Megan, her son just came out of Oak Park, Illinois, right outside of Chicago. And she and I went through crazy to the point where her son, Alex Gossick, shout out, St. Louis, is getting ready to go down and play ball. He got so frustrated he wanted to sign early because he was scared he going to miss the boat. So, Coach Jay, you're right. This is a kid who should have been talented enough to at least go D2, maybe stay at home and go play at UIC or even bummed up Chicago State, but he decided to go down to St. Louis. So what's the remedy?
Catch a flight to St. Louis.
Catch a flight to St. Louis. Hey, man. Hey, man. Man, you tripping, man. T-Bone and St. Louis. St. Louis, they want their quarterback, man.
That's cool because nobody knew us.
Man, I tell you, and Megan just said, she said that basketball is one of the most inexpensive sports to play for young people. Kind of, sort of, Megan, because Justin and I tell you, he's on that road. He's in that circuit. That circuit ain't cheap at all. It goes, no. We're going to Indianapolis, to Atlanta, to Oklahoma, to Vegas.
Y'all hitting them parents with that inflation, huh?
Hey, man, cool out, man. You need to hey, man, tariffs, man.
Right, exactly.
Tariff charges. If you ain't know everything that just went up, all that, man.
Yesterday's price ain't today's price.
It ain't either, man.
Indeed.
Hey, you better recognize, man. Don't come up here with that. Go to camp first. You'll see all that, man. And I tell you, man, listen, man, it's been absolutely great, man. We're going to go around the room, man, and get out what we call our last thoughts. Mike, let's start with you. We're going to go around the room. What's your last thoughts, man?
Hey, man, keep doing what you're doing, man. I love this podcast, man. And, it's a blessing to be able to have the opportunity to be on with some cool brothers, man, and just, chop it up, man. So keep doing what you're doing, brother.
Man, I appreciate it, man. That's what's love, fam. Coach Justin.
No, man, same sentiments, man. Definitely tune into this every Monday. Shoot, my last thoughts, man. I'm just glad to see that Coach J here one hat today.
Right. Knowing the other man hunter, dog.
Outside him putting on a Billups jersey and whatnot, he might get y'all demonetized tonight. I don't know.
But you the one that's banned from locked out from the betting sport, right?
Right, yeah, he locked out. Trying to get me
Hey, why you bring up old stuff?
Purposes only, Jay, for pride.
Bring up old stuff.
They done changed the locks on them, huh?
Yeah, you said they changed the locks outside. Yeah, I've been checking the door like this, man. That be man.
Damn, don't work no
What's good down in North Carolina, man? What you got for him, man?
Man, I just want to say, Tony, it's always a blessing, man, just to be on the show with you, see where you came from, man. The corporate days when we used to rock with the golf club, we used to swing the golf clubs and do things. And now to see you worldwide on the show, man, being global. But more importantly, man, just seeing how you raised your son, man, seeing how little Tones come up and just watching him grow, watching you be a father, involving him, and what they see is what they become, man. So just mad proud, bro. Always.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man. Man, you was in the house together, man, and daughters the same name, same age, right there, man, rocking the same situation, man, fatherhood, and proud of little Tone, man. He get ready to graduate. For those, I hear my little son, man, at MTSU, Middle Tennessee State University, graduating December 13th. Proud of him. He's in the sports world too, on the side of the house of mass media and music production. Coach Richardson, that was a sign. I'm gonna send him up to Temple. I'm gonna send him up to Temple, put him on the bench, make him work, make him go out there and knock on doors, go recruit, film, game, whatever you want him to do. I'm gonna send him to you and get him right, And Coach Jay, Justin was right, man. Go on with the Detroit stuff, man. You up in here, man.
Hey man, look, man. It's always a pleasure, man, to be up here with the fellas.
Go give me some Coney dog, man. What you talking about?
It's always a pleasure to be up here with the fellas to laugh and talk our ish, and hit the serious moments when it needs to be, And so we need to make sure we do this again. Coach Richardson, Coach Tone, and I'll be up there either for that Michigan State game or that VCU game. We'll be up there for one of them games. So looking for us. But always a pleasure, man.
Man, love again when they talked about that, Mike, you ain't got to pull up the shot. They already know Southside Sox in the house, man. You see what I got on Madhouse on Madison, man. In case y'all didn't know, man, which how we do it on Madison Avenue, West Side, man. West Side, we throw it up, man. Listen, man. When Val was talking to me about the show, we were doing stuff, and I was kicking with Megan, and Megan again, love you to death, classmate, for throwing it out because she's going through some things because she, as a mother, just experienced her son through recruiting process, through some personal trials and tribulations she just had, and then to do some things and she saw what I was talking about, to give the podcast a little flavor, man, and kind of give you from a mother's perspective what she's going through. And Coach Richardson, man, I always completely love you. You give it real because we can talk the talk and walk the walk, right? But you're sitting there living it every single day. You know what the ADs are talking about, what we're doing. So I appreciate you guys very much so. And I'm telling you, I got a podcast coming up pretty soon that I'm going to put out to everybody, and you got to tune in because it's going to be absolutely off the charts. But listen, my man and them, Chi-Town to the Zona, Mike Drew fam in the house, Coach Justin, sister, man, keep doing what you do. J-Dub, we're going to always keep it like that. And by the way, man, Justin, to tell you, man, I just shot a cool 84 the other day, James. So get your sticks ready, man. Mike will tell you I'm sticking that rock, man. And Jay will tell you, keep the clubs in the trunk. I'll take the basketball out. I keep clubs in the trunk.
We ready, baby. We ready. We ready.
Okay, man, I like that. We're going to get it out. And Jay, man, you already know, man. Y'all brothers, man, any of y'all got any last words real quick?
Peace.
Man, I tell you, man, listen, as we start to get up out of here, the Rise is what I'm working with, man. This is my own personal, club, that I'm doing my sports agency side of the house. We try to help these kids maximize their potential to be the best they can. I got a young lady right now who's a tennis player. Shout out to Malika Chinyeri. We're on the horn right now with anatomy, leisure wear, working with some things. We're allowing her to figure out what's her potential to get as much as she can and maximize as much as she can. Coach Richardson, she sees it every day because she's got to deal with the NIL. And then obviously my girl, my sidekick, who's taking the back seat tonight because she know I had my mans in there ride with me, Val the Voice Johnson. She got a book, for those that don't know, called A DJ Saved My Life, where she talks about the trials and tribulations that she had to and utilize being a DJ to get her back to the podcast world. For those that don't have the book, scan the QR code, you can get it. And then obviously, for those that don't know, we switch from sports to entertainment and music on Tuesday nights with Interludes Talk on Tuesday, where Val and I get a chance to kind of go do some movie reviews. She does reviews on one side, I give you the hood reviews. That's how we do. But fellas, love y'all brothers, man. And Val, welcome to the yard. There she go right there. She always gonna come on. What's up, Val, the voice? Man, what's good with you?
We gonna hit these credits. Peace.
It's the Pull Up Podcast. It's the Pull Up Podcast. It's the Pull Up Podcast. Pull up, pull up. It's the Pull Up Podcast. It's the Pull Up Podcast. It's the Pull Up Podcast. Pull up, pull up. Bounce the voice and Coach Tony, you know it's the Pull Up Podcast. So I said bounce the voice and Coach Tony, you know it's the Pull Up Podcast. So it's the Pull Up Podcast. It's the Pull Up Podcast. It's the Pull Up Podcast. So it's the Pull Up Podcast. It's the Pull Up Podcast. It's the Pull Up Podcast. So Kev is the engineer. Val is the one you hear. Hey, Coach Tony got the sports show. Let's go. It's the Pull Up Podcast. So I said Kev is the engineer. Val is the one you hear. Hey, Coach Tony got the sports show. Let's go. It's the Pull Up Podcast. So it's the Pull Up Podcast. It's the Pull Up Podcast. It's the Pull Up Podcast. Pull up. It's the Pull Up Podcast. It's the Pull Up Podcast. It's the Pull Up Podcast. Pull up. Let's go. Hey. Let's go. Hey. Let's go. Hey. Let's go. Let's go. It's the Pull Up Podcast. It's the Pull Up Podcast. It's the Pull Up Podcast. Pull up. It's the Pull Up Podcast. It's the Pull Up Podcast. It's the Pull Up Podcast. Pull up.
Man,